I need you to understand something before I tell you this story. I am not a superstitious person. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in the supernatural. I believe in what I can see, what I can touch, what I can prove. I'm telling you this because what happened to me last October has no rational explanation, and I've spent every day since trying to find one. I've hiked the Blackwood Trail every autumn for 6 years. It's a 12-mile loop through old-growth pine forest about 40 minutes outside the city. I know every turn, every route, every creek crossing. I've done it in rain and snow and fog so thick I could barely see my hand in front of my face. I've never once felt uneasy out there. Until last October. It started like every other hike. I parked at the trailhead just before sunrise, laced up my boots, shouldered my pack. The air was cold and clean, frost on the grass, the kind of morning that makes you feel lucky to be alive. I was about a mile in when I saw it. A path branching off to the left, narrow, maybe 2 feet wide, the dirt worn smooth and pale like it had been walked 1,000 times over many years. It disappeared into the trees about 20 feet in, curving out of sight. I stopped dead. I've hiked this trail 60 times. I know every inch of it. There is no left branch at mile 1. I pulled out my trail map, the one I've carried for 6 years, laminated and folded in my chest pocket. I studied it carefully. Nothing. No branch, no alternate path, just the main loop continuing straight ahead. I opened my phone and checked the GPS. Same result. The app showed me standing on the main trail with dense forest on both sides. The path in front of me didn't exist, according to any map I had. I stood there for probably 2 minutes just staring at it. Something felt wrong. Not dangerous exactly, just wrong. Like finding an extra door in your house that wasn't there yesterday. It violated something, some basic rule about how the world is supposed to work. I should have kept walking. You already know I didn't. The moment I stepped onto the path, the forest changed. I don't know how else to describe it. The light shifted even though the sky hadn't changed. The sounds dropped away. No wind, no birds, no rustling leaves. Just silence so complete it had a texture to it, like pressure against my eardrums. The air felt heavier, closer, like breathing inside a room that hadn't been opened in years. I walked for maybe 10 minutes. The path was perfectly clear, perfectly maintained, which made no sense for a trail that didn't exist. No fallen branches, no overgrowth. Someone or something kept this path clear. That's when I noticed the footprints. They were in a patch of soft mud about 15 feet ahead of me. Boot prints. Fresh, the edges still sharp and clean, no water pooled in them. They were heading the same direction I was walking, deeper into the forest. I crouched down and looked at them carefully. Size 11, lug sole pattern, deep heel strike on the right foot slightly more pronounced than the left, the exact wear pattern of someone who favors their right side when walking uphill. I looked down at my boots. Size 11, same lug sole. I favor my right side going uphill. An old knee injury. My hands started shaking. I told myself it was coincidence. Common boot brand, lots of people hike. But I couldn't shake the feeling that settled into my chest like cold water. Those prints were mine. I didn't know how, but they were mine. I kept walking. I don't know why. Some part of me needed to know where the path ended. 20 minutes later, the trees opened into a clearing. The cabin sat at the far edge, old-growth timber, dark with age, roof sagging on one side like a shoulder bearing too much weight. The windows were black, not dark black, like they were painted over or covered from the inside. The front door hung open about 6 inches. Beyond it was pure darkness. I stood at the tree line for a long time just looking at it. The silence was worse here. Absolute. Not peaceful. Wrong. I was about to turn around when I saw the backpack on the doorstep. Dark green, side pockets with orange zippers, patch on the left strap, a small mountain logo I'd bought at a trailhead gift shop 4 years ago. It was my backpack, identical in every detail to the one currently sitting on my shoulders. I reached back with one hand and felt the familiar weight of it. Still there, still on my back. I touched the left strap and felt the patch under my fingers. But there it was, sitting on that doorstep, my pack, waiting. And then, from inside the cabin, I heard it. Breathing, slow, steady, completely calm, like someone sleeping. I want to tell you I ran. That would have been the smart thing, the rational thing, but I didn't. Something pulled me forward, some terrible need to see, to know. I approached the window to the left of the door and looked through the glass. A man sat in a wooden chair in the center of the room, back to me, head slightly forward, the way someone sits when they've fallen asleep sitting up. He was wearing a gray jacket, hiking pants, dark boots. My jacket, my pants, my boots? I banged on the glass with my fist, hard, 3 times. He didn't move. I pushed the door open. The smell hit me immediately. Damp wood and something underneath it, something I recognized from somewhere and couldn't name, something cold and still. I crossed the room. My footsteps sounded wrong on the floor, flat, like sound couldn't travel properly in that space. I put my hand on his shoulder. He was cold, not the cold of someone sitting in a chilly room, the cold of something that had been cold for a long time. I turned him around. It was my face. Not someone who looked like me, not a resemblance. My face, my exact face, slack and pale, eyes open and fixed, staring at nothing. My hands folded in my lap the way I fold them when I'm thinking. A habit I've had since childhood, not breathing. I don't remember leaving the cabin. I don't remember crossing the clearing or finding the path back. My next clear memory is hitting the pavement of the parking lot at a full run. My car keys already in my hand. I drove home. It took me 40 minutes, and I don't remember a single second of it. I walked through my front door at 11 in the morning. My wife was on the couch. She looked up when she heard the door open, and she screamed. Not a startled sound, a real scream, the kind that comes from somewhere deep and animal. Because I had been sitting in the armchair in the corner of our living room the whole time I was gone. 3 days. I had been missing for 3 days. I thought I'd been gone for a morning. She said I was sitting perfectly still, eyes open, not responding to anything. She'd called 911 the first night. Paramedics came and found a pulse but couldn't wake me. They wanted to take me to the hospital, but then I opened my eyes and said I was fine, and they left. She said I sat back down in the chair immediately after they left and didn't move again for 2 more days. The doctors found nothing wrong, no neurological event, no seizure activity, no explanation. They said I never went hiking, said I'd been in that chair the entire time based on everything the evidence showed. I have photographs on my phone from that morning, the trailhead, the fog on the trees, the footprints in the mud. The doctor said I must have taken them before I sat down, that my mind constructed the rest. I didn't argue with them, but last night I was getting ready for bed, and I set my boots by the back door the way I always do. This morning they were by the front door, and there was mud on them. Fresh mud, the same pale gray mud from the path that doesn't exist.